Hello and welcome to the final installment of the 12 Days of Tarot. So across the board as a reader, whether I'm working with strangers at events or coaching clients in my spiritual makeover program, the most popular tarot reading request that I get is about love and relationships. And I am always so eager to do those readings because I believe that relationships are where we cultivate the tools as human beings to be able to interact with kindness in the world. It's by being able to stay kind and considerate to the people that we're most intimate with that we can then apply those lessons to the outside world and, in theory, become a more peaceful planet. So I think that it's really, really vital that we recognize that our relationships, especially the romantic ones, are the training grounds, the classrooms for how we're supposed to show love in the rest of the world. So for these readings, we have 3 piles. We'll go over the options in just a moment, but just know that whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship, whether you have someone who's an intended relationship partner or you have no one in the picture right now, you can still participate in this reading. So what I need you to do is just think of what you want from a relationship or think of the current person you want a relationship with. And from there, we're going to do a compatibility spread that I've come up with on my own for my clients, and it's going to just show how either you and your partner, you and your intended partner, or you and the next person that's going to come into your romantic life are going to be meshed up. So for our options, we have pile number 1, which is attached to this baby blue stone. So if you're drawn in by that stone, you are pile number 1. Pile number 2 is this orange calcite. So if that attracts you, you're pile number 2. Pile number 3 is this Dalmatian stone. So if you're feeling drawn to that one, you are pile number 3. So diving right in with pile number 1, our baby blue stone, we are going to start with our Total Betty Goddess card. 90s icons representing the goddesses to help give us a little divine flavor. And for pile number 1, your Total Betty Goddess is Durga, played by Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Christy Swanson, movie version. So Durga is the goddess of fighting demons. So this is going to be a connection, whatever it is that you had in mind in picking your selection for your stone, is going to be a connection that is really going to help you to conquer some of your past demons. So it's going to bring up some past stuff. I'm going to say right away, before we even look at the cards, that it's probably going to be a situation in which this partner is a mirror of a family member, a caregiver, or a past relationship that still needs healed. So there's probably going to be some familiar qualities to this person, which is both going to feel good and also feel a little like it's bringing up some stuff that you maybe don't want to look at, but you should. So it's going to be beneficial, but it's not necessarily going to be easy, and that's okay. And we're going to find out why. So we have 5 cards in the spread with the Lioness Oracle deck. And one of them is going to represent your energy in the relationship. The other is going to represent the other person's. There's going to be a card for the benefits, a card for the lessons, and a card for the ultimate outcome or reason for that connection. So your energy that you're bringing into this connection is the Queen of Cups. So it's a very romantic, a very intuitive energy. You are coming into this relationship really feeling as if you've owned your power and you really are in place in your sexuality, you are in place in your intuition, and you really have drawn in something that is a clear manifestation. So whatever it is that showed up or whoever it was that you had in mind with this selection of the stone, know that you chose this. Karmically, you chose this relationship. They are bringing in an energy of the 8 of Swords. So they're automatically coming in with a little bit of fear, a little bit of trepidation, maybe a little commitment phobia, because they're also having the same experience that you are. Something about you reminds them of their original caretakers or a very, very deep or a past relationship that was really important to them that didn't become resolved in some way. So you both have come together to resolve this karma from some sort of past situation. It also could be from a past life. It could be that you know this person from a past life and it didn't end well, and this lifetime you're coming together to kind of make it wrapped up in a little bow so that you feel like you can then move forward. So just know that they are coming in with this trepidation to this relationship. They are a little scared, and that's not necessarily something that you should be running away from. You might want to, but they're coming in because that probably reminds you of a past relationship or caregiver. There's probably someone in your life in your formative years that you felt a little abandoned by, or like they were a little more distant than you would like them to be. And this relationship is coming in for you to look at those things, to look at those abandonment issues, for lack of a better term. The benefits of this connection is the Ace of Pentacles. So there's something about this connection that's really going to help one or both of you figure out your home and financial situation. So it could be that you are coworkers, or that you inspire each other to move forward in your jobs. Maybe you're really supportive of one another in the career field. Or it could be that there's just something about this person that makes you want to have a more stable life and create a stable home for yourself and maybe for this partner. But they're really inspiring on both sides. You're both inspiring within each other more stability and more financial maturity. So that's a good thing, and that's why you're coming together. You're coming together because you both need to have that inspiration forward in that area. It feels like this is kind of a relationship that makes you really grow up and become an adult because of the things that you want to see in your future in regards to this connection. The lessons from this connection are the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords is a sign that at some point there will be something that needs to be left behind, that's had enough, that you cannot move forward anymore, you cannot resuscitate the situation. And this, in some situations, this could be that there's something within the relationship that you leave behind that's not the relationship, that the relationship has triggered you, the realization that you want to leave it. But because this is a romance reading, and because this is a very karmic situation, this does feel like it's a relationship that's not necessarily going to be a forever lasting one, and that's okay. We really need to let go of the idea that a relationship is flawed in some way if it doesn't last forever, because that's absolutely not true. And a lot of times karmic relationships come into your life specifically to shake things up and make you learn lessons so that you can move forward and find something that's a little more stable and long-lasting in a healthier mindset. Because you don't want to bring all the baggage that this relationship is healing for you into the perfect relationship. You kind of want like a starter relationship or a tester relationship so that you can let yourself bring up the stuff that's maybe not that attractive, that you can examine for yourself and you can look at, and you can recognize that you have these triggers and you have these coping mechanisms that maybe aren't that healthy, and you can move forward from them and heal them in the face of this relationship so that for the next person, you're that much healthier and that much stronger. So I encourage you, whatever connection this was for you, to, again, don't run away from it. You drew it in. You are the Queen of Cups. You knew exactly what you were doing on an intuitive and spiritual level whenever this person came into your life. Same for them. And it's definitely a situation that anything that upsets you about it, anything that makes you feel triggered by it, needs to be looked at. You need to shine a light on those places. Rather than blaming the other person for making you feel these things, you need to ask yourself, why am I feeling so triggered by this? Where did this come from in my past? What caregiver or past relationship or really important connection in my past made me feel abandoned in this way? And how can I re-nurture that inner child part of myself so that I don't put all these expectations on my romantic partner to be everything, to be the salvation, to be the caregiver? So we want to definitely ultimately find a partner that is going to be supportive enough to sort of reparent us in the ways that we need to be healed from our childhood wounds. But we also need to make sure that we are the main caregiver and reparent for ourselves, because that's ultimately who we have all the time. No matter what you are relationship-wise, you always have yourself. And if you can learn to parent yourself and to self-soothe and to be your own best lover, that's going to take the weight and the pressure off of your romantic partners. The ultimate outcome to this relationship is the Nine of Swords, which does indicate some stress, some worry, probably again, not a relationship that's going to last for a lifetime. And again, still just as valuable, even though it's not gonna last. So if you're watching this reading at the very beginning of this and it's making you feel like you wanna run away from it, just know that if you run away from this one, you'll just get the same situation in the next one. The universe has decided that you need to learn these lessons and you need to heal these wounds. And it's either gonna be this partner or it's gonna be the next partner, but someone's gonna do it for you. So you might as well like pull up your bootstraps and decide that this is the place that you're gonna do the lesson and you're gonna get it over with, rather than continuing this cycle and multiple relationships that you just keep running away from. The Vessel Oracle card that we've pulled with this is defeat. So again, I want to stress that just because a relationship isn't destined to last forever does not make it incredibly valuable on your romantic journey. So take this for what it is. There's some really good benefits coming from this connection in this Ace of Pentacles. You are going to redefine what you think home and family and security means to you just by being in this relationship. And it might be because this person shows you things that you don't want, but that's still valuable. Whenever we are trying to manifest something, the things that we don't want are just as valuable as the things that we do want, because they intensify our desires. When we see what we don't want that we may not have known before, we can then intensify and add to the list of things that we do want in a more clear and concise manner, so that the universe can give us exactly what we need, rather than something that's sort of, kind of, maybe similar because we weren't super clear about what we wanted. So this relationship is really helping you to figure out what it is that you want in regards to how you feel comfortable, how you feel stable, how you feel secure, and how you feel loved in a home environment and in a loving relationship. And again, we have the Total Betty Goddess Durga at your side. She is there to help you battle your demons. You can call upon her anytime you start to struggle with these past triggers in this relationship. And ultimately, you know, you got into this relationship because there is some sort of attraction and love here. So don't let yourself get stuck there, because once you've healed your wounds, it's time to move forward. But don't devalue everything that this relationship is teaching you, because it's still really, really important. And honestly, when you end up in the relationship that is supposed to be long lasting, you'll be so grateful that you gave this version of yourself to this relationship so that you could give the better version of yourself to that relationship. So card number one, people, my heart, my love is with you. I've been there. You will get through this. Find the love, find the lessons, and move on into something better. The next group of cards is pile number two. So pile number two, once again, was the orange calcite. So again, whatever relationship or future manifestation of a relationship you were thinking of, these cards are for that. The Total Betty Goddess that's coming in for this is Minerva. So Minerva is the goddess of communication. So this relationship is going to be vital that you communicate. So if you're the type of person that likes to just lock your feelings up in your heart and not share with anyone what they are, that's gonna stretch your comfort zone. If you're like me and you like to talk about everything that comes through your heart and your mind, you're gonna thrive in this situation, but you may have a partner that needs to work on a little bit. So just know that communication is your main intention in this connection. And then we're gonna do our 5-card Lioness Oracle card spread with your energy, their energy, the benefits, the lessons, and the outcome. Whoa! Okay, first of all, 4 of these 5 cards are major arcana, which in the language of tarot means that there is so much destiny and fate in this connection that you would not be able to avoid it if you tried. This was destined to come together with this person. Like, this was gonna happen, you were gonna meet. It might be the type of person that you've met several times and maybe didn't notice them, or you were in the same location several times and you didn't meet. It's one of those situations where it's like, this this was going to happen. Your paths were going to cross, and they might have been trying to cross for several years before this, and now they're finally crossing, or they're about to cross if you're manifesting this. Your energy is coming into this relationship, to this connection, as the Death card. So this is ultimately the rebirth card. So don't get scared by that Death card. It means you've just come through, or you are currently coming through this transitional period. You're on a bridge from one version of your life to the next, and you're letting go of a lot of stuff, or you may have recently let go of a lot of stuff. So this is saying that you are coming into this not as the fool energy. You're not coming in this like innocent, naive, like I'm fresh and new. You're coming in from this for a seasoned, but still ready to restart energy. It's like you've been through the muck and you're still deciding to come forward into this next relationship, and that's a beautiful, valuable thing. Just make sure that you really are closing the door on that past, that you're letting things go. Yesterday's video was about purging your home of belongings, and I highly recommend that, especially if you're coming from a past relationship into a new one or wanting to manifest a new one. If there are items in your home or in your life that are symbolic of a previous relationship, they carry a lot of energy with them and they're holding you down. So occasionally there are things that you can feel into it and you can figure out that it's light energy and it's okay to hang on with, but really, really be careful about hanging on to those past mementos or reminders from previous relationships, because you have no idea how much they're energetically holding you back. So if you haven't already purged some stuff from your life, the Death card is saying that, like, make sure you're cleaning house, both literally and figuratively, in regards to anything that represents who you were previously. And you know what I'm talking about. You know that you are currently a new version of yourself. So if there's anything in your life that feels like it's an anchor to that old version, it's time to let it go. Bless it and release it. Their energy is coming in with the Wheel of Fortune. So they've had a very similar awakening and transformation. Only theirs is coming from a place of recognizing that you always have to take the good with the bad. So you may be coming from a place of death and rebirth, where you're like, oh, everything that's bad is now gone. I'm going to make something new. This person's coming in with an energy of learning that sometimes you have to take the bad with the good. So that's a lesson that they're probably going to teach you. They might have been in a relationship that they did a lot of work on and it ultimately ended, but they are now able to see that sometimes something that looks bad may also have some good to it, or that if you stick around long enough, it becomes good again. So I feel like they have more like long-term potential because they know this lesson, because they're not going to run at the first sign of something that feels uncomfortable. So that's a good sign. Just make sure that you are learning that lesson from them, because if you have a tendency to run immediately when something gets uncomfortable or you see something that you don't like in a romantic relationship, you might want to have a little more staying power with this person. You might want to observe their staying power and try and match it. The benefit of this lesson comes in with the World card. So this is a completion of a cycle. It could be one of two things. It could be that this relationship is the closeout of a chapter in your life, or it could be that you just closed out a chapter in your life and this relationship signifies that closing of the door and that rebirth of something new. But regardless, this is a beautiful card. The World card says that you have learned the lessons that you've meant to learn. You are both coming together in this place of feeling more complete, feeling more whole within yourself. So you're not trying to look at the other person to complete you. And this is really allowing you to enter into it from a place of autonomy and to love unconditionally, because you're no longer looking for them to solve all your problems. So bravo to both of you. The lessons in this relationship are the Magician. And the Magician is here to tell you that you have everything that you need. So this is mirroring that World energy of you don't need someone else to solve your problems. You can solve them. And you don't need to put pressure on your romantic partner to be everything for you. they can totally show up for that challenge and be a reparenting. This is a good group, well, everyone's a good group to look into. Harville Hendrix, the Imago therapy, is a practice for couples therapy that I'm a huge believer in, and the main concept behind it is that in a committed relationship, we can help to reparent our partner's wounds from childhood so that we kind of reset those stories. So if there was a story of abandonment, then your partner is now committed to you and showing you that they're not going to abandon you. So there are areas that your partner can help you heal, but the point is that you're coming in with this relationship not with the idea that they are going to save you. You know that you can stand on your own 2 feet, you know that you can save yourself, and if they happen to be able to stick around to help heal some childhood wounds, bonus, cherry on the sundae, awesome. So the card that is the outcome of this is the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is saying that you both will come out of this situation fully aware of your value, fully aware of who you're willing to put up with in a romantic relationship and what you're willing to welcome in. There's definitely an energy of you are coming into that relationship in the same manner. You know what you want, you know what you're going to accept, you know what you're not going to accept, and that has been proven in this connection. You've called in something that is completely worthy of who you are. The Vessel Oracle card that's coming in for this is fear. So just watch out for that. Watch out for the fear that comes up when you find yourself in a healthy relationship, because it's crazy how being with someone who's healthy can actually make you crazier because you are not used to that. So just be okay with the fear. Know that you have the capacity to take care of yourself, and your partner that you've attracted is healthy enough that they're not going to walk away. So this is a safe connection to explore communication, and make sure you talk about when you're afraid. If you have a fear of something in the relationship, you have to talk about it. That's what happens in healthy adult relationships. You communicate your fears and your deepest emotions, because otherwise the other person has to be a mind reader, and that's not possible. So please communicate. Minerva is there to help you. So for my pile number 3 people, if you picked the Dalmatian stone, diving into your cards, your total Betty is Nemesis. So that tells me that these cards are going to have some karma in this relationship. Maybe not a karmic relationship, but there's going to be some karma at play. I feel like it's kind of a do unto others as you would have do unto you. So ask yourself in your relationship or your manifesting relationship when it gets here, are you treating them the way that you would like to be treated? Because that's an important question that you might not like the answer to. So your Linus Oracle cards, we have you, we have them, we have the benefits, we have the lessons, and we have the outcome. So your energy is coming in with the 3 of Cups. So this is telling me that your outside friendships from this relationship are very, very important to this connection. I think it could be twofold. One is it's gonna help balance out if you keep in touch with your friends and you don't abandon them when you get into the romantic relationship. That's gonna take the pressure off of your romantic partner. A Course in Miracles says to make your relationships more friendly and your friendships more romantic. And the beautiful benefit of that is that when your friendships are more romantic, you feel passionate there, you feel loved there, and you don't have to feel like this romantic partner always has to fulfill that need. If they have other shit going on in their lives, you can then turn to your friends and still get that same loving energy. So that's a really important lesson. It also could mean that this is a relationship that started from your friend circle. So if you're friends into lovers, bravo. The other person in this connection, is coming in with the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups tells me that they have just walked away from something that was really hard for them to walk away from. So they might be newly out of a relationship or recently out of a relationship, and it was pretty much, they stayed way past their due date. They had the milk in the fridge way past its expiration, and so they are ready to move into something new now. So you are providing that, but again, because of that, they may not have the energy to hold all of your weight whenever you need to rely on them. And that's why your friendships are gonna be so important, because you don't wanna put the pressure on this person. They've gone through a lot. Give them a break. The benefits of this is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is an interesting card to come in as a benefit because it is saying that there can be a little bit of emotional upheaval in this connection. This one, I almost want to mirror back to the previous cards for this one. So if you were torn between the piles, there's a good reason, because the Five of Cups, I almost want to tell you to make sure you're communicating your emotions. Don't be afraid of that. This feels like it's going to be something where maybe you are so afraid of burdening this partner because you do know they've been through a lot that you don't speak up whenever you do have emotions. So don't bottle that up. Still find a safe space that you can talk about it, or at the very least, bring those emotions to your friends and talk about it, and hopefully they have a healthy mindset and can help you gauge whether or not to go talk to your partner. But you definitely need to still be talking about your emotions to someone. Maybe it's even therapy, or journal. There's emotions that need to be let out of you on both sides. So make sure you both have those outlets. It doesn't have to necessarily be one another. You don't have to be venting one another all the time, but you definitely need the outlets for these emotions, because it feels like one or both of you have a tendency to sort of bottle things up until they explode, and that makes the problem worse than what it would have been if you would have talked about it to begin with. So just know that that's the benefit. It's forcing you to talk about your emotion to someone and get into that practice. The lesson that's coming in is the Emperor. So the lesson behind this is beautiful. It means that this relationship helps you see the big picture. So the Emperor, I like to think of it as sort of like a bird's eye view of the situation. He's got his shit together and he knows what the plan of action is, and he can see. It's almost like if you picture in those movies when there's like a war being plotted out and they have like the map and all the little figurines that they can move around. It's like that. You can see the big picture in this relationship, or at least by the time you come through this relationship, you're really able to see the big picture of a relationship. So whenever the Emperor is showing up, I would say that that's definitely a sign that your emotions were clouding your ability to see things clearly. So by learning the benefit of expressing your emotions to people whenever you need to, the Emperor comes into play and your vision becomes really clear. The outcome of this scenario is the Five of Wands. So this is kind of a question mark. The Five of Wands indicates that it's too soon to tell. So I think that that's a beautiful way to end a relationship reading, because sometimes we don't need to know what the outcome is. We just need to be in it, and we need to learn the lessons, and we need to enjoy the experience. But again, there's a lot of karma at play. Again, do unto others as you would like do unto you. There's deep lessons here. And I feel like the Five of Wands is coming in because this feels like it's something that for some people, it's a blip on the radar, and it comes in and it has these benefits and these lessons, and it goes out. And for some of you, it's years in this lesson, or maybe lifetimes in this lesson, because sometimes it does take a long time to learn, to trust, to say your emotions when you feel them, and to figure out where the avenue is that you need to channel on. That might be part of the process too, is trying to figure out where do I tell this emotion to at what time? Because that will be a little bit of trial and error. But again, do unto others as you would have do unto you. If you have an emotion that feels kind of shitty to express to your partner, that would make them feel kind of shitty, think about that. Would you want that to be said to you at this time, especially given what they're going through? So taking into consideration where they are, because there's never a right or wrong answer that is a blanket statement for anything. There are times that you can come to your partner when you're feeling sad, and there are times that that's just going to burden them. And so you got to take a look at the big picture in order to be able to tell that. So it totally makes sense that these cards are together. And the Five of Wands is saying that you can play here as long as you want. There's not a red flag saying like, oh, you need to get out now. And there's not necessarily some prize at the end if you stay longer than you want. It's just stay here and play as long as it feels good, and as long as it feels like you're still learning. Your Vessel Oracle deck is release. So this relationship is really helping you to release old patterns, release old beliefs, to embrace that emotionality, to embrace being able to see the big picture, and then also embrace your own free will. So release the idea that you need to know the outcome right now, because It's about what feels good. Does this relationship still feel like it's serving you? Then stay. If at any point the answer is no, and it's not because you've been avoiding your emotions and because you can't see the big picture, then go. Trust this Emperor energy. This Emperor energy will tell you when your certainty needs to come into play and say yes or no. Because if you can see the big picture, then you can tell whether or not this is right for you or not. So this is a relationship of free will. There is less destiny cards. There's one destiny card. So you have a choice. Is this for you? And only you can decide that. And I have full faith in your ability to do so. So I hope that these cards have served you well. If you want more tarot, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. I won't be posting these always on Instagram or on Facebook, but I do post all my videos over on YouTube, /Michelle Shea Walker. If you want tarot every week and every month, if you want to get a monthly tarot scope at the beginning of January, head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Michelle Shea, where I share all kinds of extra goodies over there, bonus video content, extended videos, audios, and just generally get weird over there. So if you like getting weird with me, head over to the Patreon, join up. There's $3, $11, and $22 levels, so pick the one that's right for you. And I hope that you enjoyed the 12 days of tarot. Leave in the comments below something that you learned about yourself, your life, or tarot during the past 12 days. And if you missed out, go back and find them. Thank you for being here. I'm Michelle Shea Walker. You can find the Total Betty Goddess deck over at michellesheawalker.com/shop. So if you need a little sisterhood at your back to help you navigate these waters, they are there. And I'm over at Instagram at Michelle Shea. DM me if you ever have any questions or just want to know more about what I do. Thanks for sticking around.